Okay, good morning. My name is Bob Essad, and with the assistance of Matt Roper, we will present a demonstration of the MAJIIC 2 distributed architecture with systems and services that support the joint ISR process and its contributions to the intel and operation cycles. I am the NATO CIA Agency Facilitator for the MAJIIC 2 Operations Support Working Group, and Matt, as you already know, is our Joint ISR Service Line Chief. Our goal today is to provide you an understanding of how systems and services meeting MAJIIC 2 specifications significantly enhance operator performance through automation and global awareness of current and planned tasks.
Well, good morning once again. Now, our demonstration today takes place within the OPTIMAX 15 environment, which you could consider as a representation of a mission network. This environment provides the intel, command, control, and communications capabilities that are required to perform day-to-day joint ISR operations. Our demonstration includes simulation capabilities that allow us to generate the movement of forces within a realistic environment. The force movements are built around a scenario that includes blue forces, red forces, and neutrals. The scenario is made up of a number of specific vignettes that we use to test the joint ISR processes that we're using and the systems that are supporting those processes. The MAJIIC 2 systems that we're using support functions such as intelligence requirements management, collection management and sensor collector, exploitation and dissemination. Also provided are common geospatial information systems, C2 functionality, and the collaboration and communications abilities that are required to emulate real-world operations. In addition, it's also extremely important that we observe and evaluate processes and systems when we perform these exercises. So, in order to capture all the activity during trials and test events, we include data monitoring and recording systems. There are also a number of dedicated observation teams and tools used to perform testing and evaluation of the systems, processes, and formats that support MAJIIC 2 spiral development approach.
Now, we will use this environment during the demonstration to provide you with an understanding of MAJIIC 2 capabilities. The demonstration consists of a slide presentation as a guide to provide explanations for what you're reviewing. The demonstration will also look at 3 core activities that will focus on the joint ISR process of task, collect, process, exploit, and disseminate, also known as TCPED. In addition, we will provide actual MAJIIC 2 system displays from the nations as they perform joint ISR process tasks.
Now, as you saw before, the intelligence and operations activities within each component are fed by the TCPED process, seen here. In a multi-echelon situation, the Intelligence Requirements Management, or IRM process, identifies intelligence gaps, and the collection management then coordinates the use of scarce assets to provide the priority information required by the Combined Joint Task Force Theatre Collection Manager. The collection requirements are tasked out to unit sensors and exploitation systems during the collect, process, and exploit phases, or they may be submitted to higher echelon units to be fulfilled. The collection management process is used to optimize the overall collection in an effort to make the most efficient and effective use of available assets. Once the collection requirements are fulfilled, the resulting artifacts are disseminated to the intelligence cycle, with data and products also provided to the operations cycle to fulfill time-sensitive requirements. Throughout the operation, there is a continuous need to provide intelligence to support the operational commander's priority information requirements. In response, intelligence will provide products to fulfill these requirements. MAJIIC 2 has developed integrated workflow services in order to help improve the efficiency and effectiveness of this entire process. All the MAJIIC 2 compliance systems share the data amongst themselves for global awareness within the mission network, and each system can be placed in a plug-and-play manner anywhere in the command structure that manages, collects, and exploits joint ISR data.
In order to perform evaluation of the MAJIIC 2 capability in an operational environment, we have developed scenarios that drive the use of the joint ISR TCPED process. These scenarios also test the MAJIIC 2 systems and services by identifying lessons and providing feedback to continuously improve their capabilities during the MAJIIC 2 program. We will use a mission thread from one such scenario to demonstrate the different roles played by the systems and to show how they fit into the overall process. In that way, we hope to help you understand the difference between how these processes are performed today and how they can be performed with MAJIIC 2 distributed federated capabilities. In order to ease your understanding, the chosen scenario is limited in focus, but we have also evaluated this technology in much more complex scenarios, and the results are comparable. This scenario takes place on a border between a nation that has requested and received support from NATO in reaction to the express hostile intentions of an adversary nation, known as adversaria. An adversaria wishes to expand its borders into the sovereign territory of the NATO-supported nation, and recently have escalated their activities so that the two nations are now in conflict. Adversaria has a capable military ground force that includes a mobile theater ballistic missile capability that is known to operate in their northwestern region, as noted by the colored routes on the slide. There are other high-priority targets of interest, such as integrated air defense units, but we will focus on the theater ballistic missile threat, which are considered the #1 priority by the commander of the Combined Joint Task Force. Now, adversary has a limited air force, mostly transport and attack helicopters, that NATO forces have essentially neutralized. NATO air forces are now involved in a cross-border operation to find, fix, track, and finish these theater ballistic missile targets.
The command and control structure for this scenario is made up of a combined joint task force overseeing a land component command, with a multinational brigade and an air component command. Within each component command are assigned operations and intelligence directorates that need to work together to support the commander's requirements for force deployment, offensive and defensive operations, force protection, targeting, and a number of other campaign operations.
For the demonstration, we will cycle through the entire TCPED process, showing how it works from both the planned and dynamic operations that require a reallocation of ISR and tactical assets. We will do that by focusing on 3 steps of the joint ISR process. The first is developing a collection task list, or CTL, which is a list of prioritized ISR collection and exploitation requirements developed from the ISR requests. The second is focused on the collect, process, exploit, and disseminate parts of the joint ISR process, where the prioritized collection and exploitation requirements are assigned as collection and exploitation tasks to deliver the required product. This is considered the deliberate planned part of the TCPED process. The third is executing an unplanned dynamic retask in support of a time-sensitive event to demonstrate command and control and ISR integration.
Now, as we mentioned before, we'll explain and illustrate how these activities are currently performed today, and then how the MAJIIC 2 services and systems can accomplish them. This contrast will provide you with an awareness of how MAJIIC 2 systems and services can enhance operator performance and the overall joint ISR process when executing these activities. So, let's look at the first step to develop a collection task list. We'll start with the joint ISR process and break it out to focus on the CTL development. There are many challenges to developing a collection task list in a coalition environment due to the use of a diverse combination of ISR assets and nations. Often, nations will control the use of some assets, requiring an ask, don't task method to request their support. Developing the collection task list requires a considerable amount of negotiation between the collector providing nations, the exploitation providing nations, and the coalition levels of command that are coordinating the efforts. Consequently, developing a collection task list requires close coordination among the collection managers at all C2 levels. This often requires multiple updates and the merging of spreadsheets as it develops. This is needed to capture all the collection requirements to ensure that the available air, land, maritime, and even space collection assets are effectively associated with each collection requirement. Final collection requirements are identified and assessed through a joint collection management board, or its equivalent, in order to produce the definitive list of who will fill each collection requirement and who will provide exploitation for each collection. Other products are also developed for collection coordination and management, such as an ISR synchronization matrix that provides a combined timing overview of when each asset is tasked for collection. Other information from the CTL is cut and pasted into PowerPoint slides for presentations that address collection tasking. Now, to illustrate how this is accomplished today in NATO current operations, we'll examine the roles, messages, products, and communication means. So, to begin, we start with the lower unit collection manager, in this case the multinational brigade, who submits collection requirements to the higher command collection manager, the land component command level. This is accomplished in the form of an Excel spreadsheet and is provided via web portal and email. I should point out at this juncture that some of the spreadsheets you see are illustrative and are not actually part of the formal live demonstration today. They're actually taken from previous operational missions. So, next, the Land Component Command Collection Manager assesses, merges, and consolidates the lower unit collection requirements with their own and submits them to the Joint Force Theatre Collection Manager. This is accomplished in the form of an Excel spreadsheet and is made available via web portal and email. The Theatre Collection Manager then assembles the collection requirements through a review of spreadsheets that will be used to build presentations, using information cut and pasted from the spreadsheets. This will provide for a draft CTL and the coordinating presentations that will be used to finalize the task list. This is then made available via email and web portal. Next, the approval and management process to finalize the CTL is conducted via a joint collection management board that looks at the multi-day ISR collection plan and ISR synchronization matrix to determine the availability of assets. The format to coordinate this information is through spreadsheets, text documents, and PowerPoint presentations. These are generated from various spreadsheets to create the synchronization matrix and geographic views of the collection areas of interest. All this again is made available via the web portal. The next step is to take the approved collection task list and to disseminate it to component collection operations management teams. This is accomplished through spreadsheets, presentations, and text documents, and provided to all via web portal and email. So, as you've seen, this process requires multiple coordinated efforts and a review of spreadsheets, which tends to be time-consuming, manpower-intensive, and with limited visibility and accountability to other collection tasks. The communication mechanisms use multiple systems that are not always integrated and with a limited feedback loop reliant upon manual updates, email, and/or voice calls from the requesters.
Now let's look at how this is accomplished using the MAJIIC 2 systems and services. Before we continue, I want to highlight some overall advantages of MAJIIC 2 provides when developing the CTL. MAJIIC 2 systems and services eliminate the need for textual documents and spreadsheets and improve on the communication and data sharing among the command and control echelons. Automatic notification and alerts are sent to the operator as statuses are updated and products are provided. You could think of it as living data, populating the web environment with needed information for all to manage collection requirements more effectively. It's essentially a dynamic, flexible, automated exchange of data rather than files. The communication means allows for information sharing so that it's instantaneous and visible at all stages. In addition, there is an automated feedback loop that provides global awareness. Now, as we continue, you will see a number of slides to show you the MAJIIC 2 systems being used. This necessitates a short explanation of what you will see to understand the information on the slides to follow. The process steps are listed across the top for your awareness, and the current step we are presenting will be highlighted at the top of the slide. On the left side, you will see the command and control hierarchy with the command level we are referring to in color. And below will be the system name, function, nation, and industry partner information. Across the bottom will be some MAJIIC 2 associated advantages highlighted. And finally, in the middle of the slide, you will view a screenshot of the system display you're seeing live on the other projection screens around the room. This format will be used for all the MAJIIC 2 step-by-step slides. And with that in mind, let's continue. Van, how's it look? Good. For the collection task list development, the overall process is essentially the same as is done today, but with MAJIIC 2 systems and services, the mechanism is automated, which means it takes less time and less effort to do the job. The collection task list development still requires close coordination and assessment of the collection tasks, but the systems are all aware and share the data and information as it is created or updated. Now, the lower command levels will develop collection requirements, and using MAJIIC 2 compliant systems will provide them through the network up the chain of command. Here you will view the collection requirements from the multinational brigade with their IRM and CM system known as ISR BMAN. You will see the collection requirement list, along with an area to review the details of any selected requirement, as well as the associated collection geographic area and location.
The multinational brigade requirements will be reviewed by the Land Component Command. And here you'll see a display of Spain's Atenea IRM and CM system, reviewing the multinational brigade collection requirements. They're also able to review the associated geographic collection areas. The land component will merge and consolidate their collection requirements with the multinational brigade and also provide that list to the theatre collection manager. The air component command will do the same. And here's a display of Norway's ICMT system listing their collection requirements and making them available to the theatre collection manager. You can also see the geographic display of the associated collection areas. As well as the temporal displays of the collection timing.
Now, the theater collection manager will assemble the collection requirements, review and prioritize them into a draft CTL, and you will see that here in the theater collection manager's position using the French DOPEC IRM and CM system. Here you can view the collection requirements grouped according to the command providers. You'll see a temporal view and a geographic view of the collection area. The prioritization effort is aided by the use of a common priority criteria decided by the theater collection manager and given to all collection managers to standardize priority assignments. Once these priorities are applied, the MAJIIC 2 services automatically assesses, ranks, and tracks them to quickly determine the highest needs for collection on a continuous basis. The draft CTL will be taken to the Joint Collection Management Board, where the theater collection manager will oversee the adjudication and assignment of collection tasks with other component collection managers. They will use the standardized priority assignments to quickly determine the highest needs for collection. This can be accomplished using the same IRM and CM system that the theater collection manager used to develop the draft, and when it's updated, the list can go final and disseminated immediately after. Once the tasks are allocated and agreed, the theater collection manager will produce a final CTL, which is immediately available to all component command collection managers. As mentioned, the CTL is available to all collection managers as soon as it is approved. You can see the final CTL assigned to the Air Component Command on the Norway IRM and CM system ICMT with the assigned statuses.
Now, through the MAJIIC 2 common architecture, all this is being accomplished through system-to-system data sharing across the network, with each nation using their own systems to display the relevant common data used by all. This process, as explained, is centralized to the theater collection manager at the CJTF. However, the MAJIIC 2 systems can also accommodate a decentralized approach where all the component command collection managers can allocate their own tasks and only need to provide unfulfilled tasks to the theater collection manager for his adjudication. So, again, to recap the MAJIIC 2 overall advantages when developing a collection task list. You've seen that it's a dynamic, flexible, automated exchange of data rather than files, and that information sharing is instantaneous and visible at all stages, along with an automated feedback loop that provides for global awareness.
Now the CTL is complete. From here, the assets will be tasked to collect, exploit, and disseminate their products. Here's when the full joint ISR process of task, collect, process, exploit, and disseminate is engaged with the collection manager tasking their assets to fulfill ISR requests. This planned collection will support the intelligence cycle.
Collection tasks allocation today is centralized with the collection operations manager using the final CTL to assign tasks to units using text documents and spreadsheets distributed via web portal and email. When this is received by the sensor assets, they complete the mission as tasked and provide the product via text document, PowerPoint, or PDF with embedded imagery using web-based Intel support systems, chat, email, and voice to inform the requester. Finally, having completed their tasks, the collection assets send their ISR products out to the requesters using various formats and a diverse means of communication.
Now let's step through this process supported by the MAJIIC 2 systems and services. Just to give you an understanding of the MAJIIC 2 advantages during collect, process, and disseminate steps, you'll see that MAJIIC 2 systems use standard formats with compliant data inputs. The communication means provides for a common awareness through information sharing to all for what is tasked, what is ongoing, and what has been delivered. Additionally, the use of chat and voice complements this coordination. Now, collection managers from the component commands will match collection and exploitation tasks against the system capabilities, as specified by their assigned function in the network. The IRM and CM tools and services in MAJIIC give everyone at all echelons awareness of this tasking. Once the collection assets have completed their task, they will disseminate their product on the network through the enterprise storage environment, and operators will be automatically notified when this occurs. Now let's see how it's done. Sensor systems will be tasked to collect radar, electro-optical imagery, full motion video, electronic intelligence, and other required data and information to fulfill requirements. In the multinational brigade, workstations such as the German mouse system can display this sensor data. Here is a full motion video from multiple UAVs from Germany and France supporting a special ops mission. In addition to the video, the system can also view the location of the sensor platform with the associated sensor footprint. All of the exploitation assets can access what is collected to provide near real-time support. The exploitation systems will also complete their tasks and ingest products and reports to the enterprise storage environment. Here is a display of the German mouse multi-exploitation system doing analysis of two separate ground-moving target indicator sensor streams, such as would be provided from NATO AGS and other sources to complete an exploitation task. In addition, they will use an MTI XREP to submit their analysis results, and the MTI XREP will be automatically associated with the task. The MAJIIC 2 architecture provides immediate feedback to the requester that the report is created. Any other associated products will automatically be associated to the task. Once the product is ingested into the enterprise, all systems on the network are automatically notified that the product is available for them to use. Continuing with exploitation stations, here is a display of the Italian ICISRC exploitation system assessing an imagery product, highlighting the activity of interest, and associating it to a task. They will then convey the completed exploitation task to the enterprise storage environment. When the exploitation station updates the status of the task or ISR request, that status is made available to all on the network. One of the common benefits of the MAJIIC architecture is the ease of providing data across the network to all systems and decision makers. Finally, requesters at all MAJIIC 2 compliant systems within the network can track the status of any RFI and ISR request to determine if it has been completed, as seen here from the CJTF Theater Collection Manager using the French DOPEC IRM and CM system to review all tasks and their statuses with an associated temporal view as a synchronization matrix.
This provides accurate, instantaneous reporting of the request or task status to better account for unfulfilled collection requirements and for the development of future collection plans. So, now you've seen how the MAJIIC systems provide near real-time awareness during the entire TCPED process. Everyone at all echelons knows the status of each task in order to more effectively manage collection. Data and products are provided across the network to all systems and decision makers and their systems, and they can track any RFI, ISR request, and task to know if it's been completed or to understand its current workflow status. So as we mentioned before, MAJIIC 2 systems use standard formats with compliant data inputs, and through instantaneous information sharing, there's a common awareness to all of what is tasked, what's ongoing, and what's been delivered. In addition, all the previously mentioned MAJIIC 2 advantages provide a significant contribution when supporting dynamic operations. The global awareness that MAJIIC 2 systems and services provide are critical during the plan, prepare, and execute portions of the operations cycle within the dynamic operations. Awareness of which sensors are available and what their tasks and priorities are become crucial when commanders need to make quick decisions to support time-sensitive operations. There are several types of operations that drive this need, such as troops in contact, dynamic targeting, or personnel recovery. The command structure prioritizes its tasks which lead to priorities being assigned for targets, attack assets, and the collectors. And the planning process includes dynamic reallocation to support high-priority tasks, which includes the reallocation of ISR and attack assets.
Now, back to our scenario. Adversaria has a mobile theater ballistic missile capability, and the assigned NATO ISR assets have been tasked to detect, identify, and track them. While many assets can detect and track, identification requires other means, such as visual confirmation. Consequently, should a ground-moving target indicator or an electronic intelligence sensor detect the mobile threat, there will be a need to provide an asset to perform the identification. The operation cycles drive this process by requesting ISR asset to provide a sensor input, such as full motion video, to complete critical criteria for follow-on action. In this case, the required data, ISR information, is tasked, collected, then disseminated directly to the supported operations units executing the action.
Today, this process begins with a sensor detection of a target, and in our scenario, the G2 fire support determines it to be a high-priority target. This information is provided via web-based intel support systems and email. The Land Component Command will request ISR assets to be made available to further identify and track the target. This is accomplished through a text document sent via chat, email, or voice. During the approval and management process, the KOC will determine what assets are available by assessing the collection plan, ISR sync matrix, and/or the reconnaissance, surveillance, and target acquisition annex to the air tasking order, also known as the RISTA ATO. This is done through a web-based targeting decision support system, review of spreadsheets, presentations, and text documents. Once the decision is made, the assets will be retasked using a text document and made available via chat, voice, and email to support the targeting mission.
Now let's look at how this is accomplished in the MAJIIC 2 environment by first looking at some of the overall advantages you will see. There are a number of advantages supported by MAJIIC 2 systems and services for dynamic retasking of joint ISR assets. For example, it supports expeditious data associations to information requirements, supporting the need for only a single workstation to complete analysis. There's immediate access to collected products to provide near real-time support to command and control time-sensitive operations. So now we will walk you through the dynamic retasking scenario, and you should see that these advantages occur throughout the process. To begin, a HUMIT report is submitted that provides a location of a possible TEL along a route in the northwest sector. This is a display of the French SAERC system showing the HUMIT report with the associated geographic display of the location and predicted TEL routing. This system will continue to monitor intelligence updates to provide additional details and location information. Using the HUMIT information from the E8 JSTARS sensor is queued to that location and also has detected a track along the same known TEL route and is providing the ground moving target indicator sensor feed in near real time to the Land Component Command Intel cell. Here is a display from the Spanish Seismo Exploitation Station of the JSTARS sensor feed. You can see the ground moving target indicator radar historical track position leaving a trail along a known TEL route. All exploitation stations also have access to the HUMIT report, allowing both to be used to analyze the situation. In addition, electronic intelligence assets are detecting emissions from one of the systems associated with the missile TEL, and has also provided location information and cooperative electronic support measures operation detections known as SESMO. This is a display of the French system ACT-IN-EW at the CJTF, showing lines of bearing from multiple sensors triangulating a location of the emitter as you see here in red. With this information, they are also able to update the electronic order of battle for the area of operations. They can also view available video feeds, if available video feeds of the triangulated location. Not so good. Now, it's determined that the Land Component Command Collection Operations Manager needs another ISR asset to ID the track, and an ISR request will be submitted with a chat message requesting a full motion video ISR product for the identification. The Collection Operations Manager from the Land Component Command will have sent a chat message to the Theater Collection Manager to get the activity moving, since they know this is a high priority dynamic target, and will also follow up with an ISR request. Here is a display of the Land Component Command IRM and CM system at the NIA submitting the ISR request for action to the Theater Collection Manager. In addition, they will also send it for information to the Air Component Command. And in this case, the Air Component Command will be tasked to provide a full motion video product to support the Land Component Command and fulfill the requirement. The Air Component Command Collection Operations Manager will receive a chat message and the ISR request. Using their system, they will have already assessed a geographic view of the ATO asset locations and associated tasks collection areas provided by a MAJIIC 2 service to aid in determining the best asset, and in this case, a UAV. Here is an example of this provided by the Land Component Command's C2NEC command and control system, checking asset locations and their associated task collection areas on their geographic situation display to aid in determining the best asset to use. They will also have detailed information from pull-down windows of what the asset is currently tasked to do. The Air Component Command Collection Operation Manager reassigns a UAV to support the ISR retask, and they move the asset to a new operating area. Once assigned and in place, JSTAR's sensor information will be used for queuing full motion video asset to aid in directing the sensor to the required location. Both the ground moving target indicator and full motion video sensor feeds can be provided in near real time to the exploitation systems. Here's a display of the UK tacit view system at the Air Component Command showing both sensor feeds on their displays. They are also able to combine and overlay these sensor inputs for a correlated display to aid in the identification of the TEL. With the final ID accomplished and decision to strike the target made, the Land Component Command will assign a strike asset to take out the TEL. The UAV assigned to the retask will remain in the area to provide full motion video of the post-strike result for an initial battle damage assessment to the targeting team. This is a display of the post-strike result on the target using the Norwegian KES Exploitation Station.
So, As you've seen, support to dynamic and time-sensitive operations is challenging and complex. However, by using the systems and services developed by MAJIIC 2, you can meet those challenges through dynamic data collection and multi-intelligence associations, whilst providing immediate visibility to others. Swift assessments can be accomplished of both C2 and collection tasks for the dynamic retask decisions, and multi-sensor product access from single systems will provide near real-time support to C2 activities. Again, as we highlighted previously, MAJIIC 2 systems and services offer a number of direct advantages to support the dynamic retasking of joint ISR assets. For example, expeditious data associations supporting the need for only a single workstation to complete the analysis, and that collected products are accessed immediately to provide near real-time support to C2 time-sensitive operations.
So, in summary, we see many advantages provided by the use of MAJIIC 2 systems and services. The systems work together, supporting both NATO and national requirements and processes. This supports burden sharing, allowing more efficient use of sensors and exploitation resources, and the limited number of personnel that are trained to support these critical roles. In addition, it allows MAJIIC 2 partners to use services implemented by other partners. Because of the agreement on formats, services, and processes, the MAJIIC systems exchange and process data automatically, as opposed to current methods that rely on transfer of files and that have to be manually merged and synchronized. This allows fewer errors in all steps of the process and less people needing to be involved in that process, which would increase the speed of increases the speed of operations. The system incorporates an automatic feedback mechanism that alerts all participants when the status of one of their task situation is changed or updated. This includes providing an association between a finished product and the initial request, so that the requester merely has to click on an embedded link to retrieve the finished product. This feedback and flexibility increases situation awareness at all echelons, allowing taskers, collectors, exploiters, and commanders to have continuous and global awareness of what is requested, what is tasked, what is ongoing, and what has been delivered. Commanders can better make informed decisions, operators can more easily coordinate planned activities, and can rapidly reallocate assets to support time-sensitive events, increasing overall mission effectiveness. The flexible and dynamic capability allows operations and intel operators at all echelons to have access to all relevant data and information in support of their near real-time events. It also supports development of intelligence products, including exploitation, to support in-depth multi-source analysis, allowing the same data to support multiple efforts.
The MAJIIC 2 project has developed a methodology to rapidly update capabilities that remain interoperable as they evolve. This mechanism supports the federation of national elements within a coalition, national support within the alliance, or as a federated NATO environment within a wider coalition. As the systems are based on the use of common data standards and well-defined interfaces, they allow for NATO nations to acquire systems that support both national and NATO processes. For example, they can support NATO's Ask, Don't Task methodology, or indeed a nation's ability to directly task organic assets. The demonstrated capabilities you've seen support both the pre-planned and dynamic operations for the full joint ISR process as defined by NATO. In addition, the service-based interfaces allow plug-and-play operations within the alliance and compliant coalitions, such as that envisaged for the future mission network. A compliant set of systems can significantly reduce the number of highly trained personnel required to support complex coalition operations, and allows the remaining personnel to be more effective, more efficient, and to quickly respond to changing situations, based on the availability of a comprehensive set of up-to-date and historical data. What we've shown is a glimpse of what MAJIIC capabilities can provide to better support the Joint ISR TCPED process. Some of the systems demonstrated are actually fielded systems, while others are prototypes. However, many of the prototypes are currently supporting operations within nations and coalitions, whilst others are being used within NATO to support the NATO Response Force 2016 as part of the move towards declaring the overall IOC for Joint ISR within NATO. What you've seen is a very limited set of the capabilities that can be available to your nation, your coalition, and to the alliance. They support the evolving doctrine and the tactics, techniques, and procedures that have recently been updated by NATO. What's required now is the concerted will of the nations to ensure that these capabilities are provided to our forces, that our people are fully trained, and that the governance bodies are actively engaged to oversee the continued evolution. In that way, we can better support the operational tasks you've seen demonstrated today and many other operational activities that are impacted by the TCPED process. Now, I hope that our short demonstration has been interesting and informative, and it's helped illustrate the value of certain key aspects of the work carried out under the MAJIIC 2 program. We'll shortly be breaking for lunch, you'll be pleased to know, and shortly thereafter we'll take you on a visit to the labs where the operators and systems are working. However, before we break, the staff and I and members of the nations supporting the MAJIIC project would welcome your questions. Once again, thanks for your patience and your attention. We'd now like to open up the floor to any discussion and questions you may have. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.